morning.
Afternoon.
Okay, good afternoon, I suppose. You'll have to excuse me. I'm still kind of waking up here. Ever since A Link to the Past on the Super Nintendo, Link has tended to begin his adventures in bed, waking up in his uncle's house, in his treehouse, on his lookout, in his dorm room, waking up after a 100-year rest. You get the idea. Link is destined to do incredible things, great deeds, and defeat terrible monsters. But before all that, he's just a lazy kid. Navi calls him a lazy boy, Zelda calls him a sleepyhead, and Skull Kid straight up robbed him while he's asleep. Link is a tired, seemingly lazy boy. But you know what? We've seen this guy push himself really, really hard. When we've seen him fight the undead, push boulders, and climb sheer cliffs using just his body. If this is your first time here, I'm Duffy, editor for the channel. In this series, I've worked really hard to overcome decades of bad lifestyle choices and habits that I made and am responsible for, all so I can become a hero. And yes, much like Link, I am seemingly a lazy boy. No, not the chair. And this lazy boy is working his muscles hard. And when you train, you need to rest and recover. You know, his body needs a rest. His nervous system needs to cool off a little bit. And we can assume that he's not just suddenly getting active from the moment the game starts. He had to have been active beforehand. He probably ran around a lot in the Kokiri Forest in Ocarina of Time. He probably ran around Outset Island exploring the place with his sister in Wind Waker. In Skyward Sword, he was an actual knight in training. Fact is that Link always starts off these games with a higher than average level of physical ability, and considering the things we see him capable of doing after he wakes up, it's clear this isn't his first day being active. Which means I shouldn't feel bad about being fatigued, right? To an extent. Because I'm training regularly and pushing my body in ways it's not used to, and also consuming less calories than my body needs to maintain its current weight, well, my body is going to be tired. I'm putting myself purposefully in a position that results in me being more easily fatigued than I would be if I was healthy and doing this stuff. So yeah, let me have my occasional nap. Recovery is really important for anybody who's training, but this made me wonder, can you get too much recovery?
This is an important time to talk about super compensation. Before you train, you have a baseline, your normal state, your base form, if you will. After you train, you have a dip in your body's abilities and overall energy reserves. During this time period, you may be sore or tired, but after sufficient recovery following a training session, you will return to normal and go beyond what your normal baseline was via supercompensation. Supercompensation is when your body adapts to the stimulus that you put it under. You get stronger, faster, etc. Without recovery, supercompensation is greatly hindered or doesn't even occur at all. Once that supercompensation occurs, if no further training occurs, if you continue to rest, you would eventually lose those adaptations and return to your baseline. So too much recovery just means not training again before you lose that adaptation. Ideally, you would want to rest enough to get the full adaptive response from whatever training you did, and then train again immediately after that. That's frequently why people train muscle groups twice a week or particular movements 2 to 3 times a week, in order to reap the benefits of multiple instances of supercompensation.
Right. So it's actually about consistency. As long as Link keeps moving and doesn't take too long of a break, he can have as many naps as he wants. Something I had to learn a while ago was how to eat. Now, by that I mean, I had spent most of my life eating when I was sad or bored, not just when I was hungry. And when I began trying to lose weight and get healthy, and I understood that eating makes up the majority of my results, I figured, okay, I'm just going to ignore it when I'm hungry and just not eat, or I'm going to undereat. That didn't produce the right results. That was me trying to overcompensate by ignoring my body. And when I overcompensated by undereating and skipping meals, it would make me feel worse, and eventually lead to me giving up on that and just overeating again. So, not helpful. If your body needs fuel, it's gonna let you know through the feelings of hunger. That's why we experience that. So, Eat when you're hungry, and only when you're hungry, and you at least have a good idea of whether or not you're eating too much. There's obviously way more to it, but that was really my first lesson I needed to learn. Fact is, the body knows what it needs, which means we can probably apply the same principle to recovery. So if your body needs rest, it's going to let you know by making you feel tired. See, I've had times in my life where I have been so lazy and did absolutely nothing with myself that I wound up experiencing way more fatigue than I was used to, because my muscles were starting to be less effective, and so any amount of work or activity would cause me to become so tired I'd want to take a nap. It wasn't the excessive napping that was the problem, it was the fact that my muscles were not working enough. They weren't used to it. But the thing was, I looked at the symptoms of not being very active, the excessive napping, and said that was my problem. And so I decided to begin ignoring my body when it said I was tired. If my body wanted to close its eyes for a little while, I'd fight it, which didn't usually end well. I usually fall asleep anyway. But I was fighting it anyway, which just exerted more energy, and that wasn't useful. So listen to your body. If you are hungry, that's when you eat. If you are tired, rest. Listen to your body. In fact, didn't we just talk about a character in anime that had a very similar lesson to teach? Yeah, Gaia told Baki that you need to respect your body. Listen to it. It knows what you need, and you need to give it what it needs.
Your body needs rest in order to be healthy. If you really aspire to give your body the care that you intend for it, you'd give more of what it wants.
So if you're overexerting yourself and ignoring the body's natural signs to you, saying, hey, I need food, or hey, I need to sleep, or hey, let's not train today because I really need some time off, you should respond accordingly. Link runs around swiping his sword, trekking up mountains, and carrying so much stuff. I mean, look at Link in Majora's Mask. He's got a hookshot, bombs, bomb shoes, a bow, multiple swords, multiple shields, 7 bottles, and so many masks. One of which is made entirely out of stone. That's gotta be over 50 pounds. Could be 60, 70, heck, that could be over 100 pounds of equipment that an 11-year-old boy, who stands at 3'7" apparently, is carrying with seemingly no problem. He's clearly in shape, so let the boy nap. I am a lazy, easily fatigued guy. But that's okay. The more I train, the more my tiredness will actually be signifying the positive changes I've made in my life. Can the fate of Hyrule really depend on such a lazy boy? Yeah, it can. Tell you what, let's go hit the gym. Never leave home without it.